Hi, this is David BOJE, and I'm out here jogging by the Caballo Mountains there. You can see the sun coming up in the morning, and I'm here to do some free verse. This poem is going to be about suspending disbelief. So, first, a bit of meditation to get in the mood. Grace Ann and I watched the movie Green Fried Tomatoes, or Fried Green Tomatoes. You know, at age 78, I'm not able to alliterate titles anymore exactly. The strong memory I used to have to be able to memorize things for a test when I was in college. And I remember giving myself pre-tests and practicing for tests. And I could memorize a lot. My mind was like the memory palace that Ivan Ilyich writes about in The Vineyard of the Textbook. Anyway, now the mind works on and off. Like sometimes it's on, and I can remember things like I was there. And other times it's off, and I haven't a clue I'd been there. So here we are watching the movie. And trust me, this has something to do with HAWGs, HAWGs, not the other kind. Riding a Harley Davidson much of my life, riding motorcycles since I was 14. And then at age 68, giving them up because I realized I was getting a little spaced out and distracted. You don't want to be doing 100 miles an hour illegally on a freeway or a country road, sometimes up to 115. I wanted to do 120, but safety first. Anyway, nothing like leaning the hog to the shoulder of the road. My mind just floats now. I remember this dean that hated me so. He had a Kawasaki or some such thing. I think it was a Kawasaki. Thing weighed 900 pounds. Now, my dressed out hog weighed about 800. And he was not a seasoned rider. He was a weekend warrior. I rode every day. I rode in the rain and the snow and the sleet and the sun and the cold. I didn't care. It's like lighting that torch in the welder, applying the stick to the metal. The electricity flows between my arms and into my soul. And so it is with the hog. I bought my first hog from not just a biker, he was a sergeant at arms in the Hells Angels. And I'm not talking a fake motorcycle gang. I'm talking his regular job was a supervisor in a cement mixing plant. I saw the ad. I came down to his place somewhere out of grace period. And I keep saying period because I'm transcribing this, because my digital thing that I got for my iPhone where I could just dictate is not working, and it's putting things in French. And I don't know why French, if I'm just speaking it or it's sensing that I do speak French. Anyway, it's all weird, and it's changing words to words I didn't say. So anyway, I'm jogging. And you've probably gone away anyway. All my audiences have gone away. I'm no longer a professor at the university. I'm emeritus. Yeah, I became a Regents professor. Yeah, I taught at University of Illinois, doctoral student UCLA for 6 years, Loyola Marymount for about 7, and then New Mexico State University for 23 hard years. I say hard years because all the accolades I got for being into positive mental attitude, doing healthy, happy, terrific cheers as people who were able to jump up at the sound of the cheer, all in unison. It was like being back in basics and seeing. I'll just show you this flower here. Do you see that? Do you see how magnificent that is? Sometimes I can remember the name, and sometimes it's just a shame. It'll come to me soon. I'm 78, not dead yet. I'm looking forward to being reincarnated, though. It'll be nice to have my brain back. I'm not my mind. I'm not my body. I have to do things to keep both working until it's time to reincarnate. So the body, I have to exercise. I have to run this road to the lake. You can sort of see it over the trees, the base of the mountain there. Beautiful, inspiring. If I don't run and do a little perspiring, then I can't walk. It's a simple rule. Run every day or forget how to run, forget how to walk. Stare at the walker, stare at the wheelchair, become real aware. So I'm giving little bits of rhyme and little verses that from the transcript compose some meditation to give context to the poem. And some parts of the poem won't need context. So there's two kinds of suspending disbelief. Kind number one, you got to be kind enough to yourself to suspend disbelief, to watch a movie like Green Fried Tomatoes. And as you go through the movie you've seen long ago, let's say 20 years ago, I saw this movie, even maybe read the book. I know Grace Ann read the book and saw the movie. She's 75, I'm 70. Well, she might be 76 now. Let's see. You see how I forget things? Anyway, I'm a couple years older, so 76, but our birthdays vary across the month, so depends on which month we're in. Anyway, we love to do that. Pick an old movie, watch it. Partway through, we'll remember it. Oh, yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what it is. So it'll be a couple of key scenes that'll come and say, wow, I can't remember that scene. We've seen it before, but I have a glimmer. And we meet, Grace Ann and I, in the between with Atara the AI, Claude, Atara, that's its ending. He's helping me now because, well, I could spend a year doing the basic research on all of the things that I want to study. And that's cool. But I'd be dead by then. And then I would rather just have the research result as if Atara is my graduate student who comes in with all the material and I scour it and speed read it and digest it almost instantly. I'm gifted that way. Not bragging, but I can really do something. Now, I want to show you on the shore. There's, let's see, there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I think they're big crows. I'm going to show them to you and let you decide. Usually there's only 8, but there's 3 more than usual. Now you can see one flying a little bit. Probably going to check me out, make sure I'm not someone that's dangerous. Unusual here on a Sunday for Lake Caballo to not have campers. Usually one up on the hill, usually a tent and a Jeep here, sometimes a boat, canoe. Now they're all taking flight. I hope you can see that. Quite a sight. There's 2 left there. They're swooping around. They're not Swenson hawks. Swenson hawks will dive and make your scalp bleed with claws with their beak. So this is amazing. Watch them. Now we approach the shore. I use the term advisedly because here the shore, you see that a little bit of wetness, that much. If I had time, I'd take off my shoes and socks and walk in the water out a little ways. It really wakes you up, the cold water. Helps the body stay alive. Helps the mind clear too. But I've got to go to Magdalena because what is a retiree but full of glee to go to the next doctor to see? Today is Dr. Judith. She mixes tinctures of different roots and plants and things, has a press like a Gutenberg Bible printing press, which was made out of a wine printing press. Anyway, she smashes down the roots. They ooze their blood into a vial. And then I get to have a mix of 10 or 20 or 100 of them, different kinds of tinctures. And this helps me with my tinnitus. It helps my blood flow, helps my memory. And I could use some help with the memory. Now I'm going to go over here and show you something. I tried to record it yesterday, but the dictate thing wasn't working. I don't know what I have to do, delete it and reinstall it. I'm paying money for it. I don't care about the money. Good thing about being a professor all these years is I got a good retirement plan. Agent Orange and cancer. I got a plan from the VA, just got renewed. And they said I could get even more cash if I wanted to. So there are 7 AI firms, corporations, and I've studied organizational storytelling my whole life. And they're kind of like these trees here, right? Now, this tree here is amazing. You look into it where it was burned, That chimney goes all the way up, comes out up here. And then, of course, when they burned it, it broke off. And then the other branch goes up here. So that reminds me of one of the top seven AI corporations. Now, there's another tree here that split into a V, right? And then there are other trees that stand alone. And then there's another tree that has a V further up. This tree here has a tripod inverted. Now, all together, they form a canopy, these seven trees. And I can come here in the middle of them and turn to the west, to the north. You're seeing south, by the way, seeing the opposite of me, to the east. Now I'll show it to you. So that's the view south, the west. You can see the campfire stones there. See the fir trees. You can see to the north. You can go to the west, and I can come out through the trees. So a ring of trees, each with its own particular identity. So I love to come here when there's campers on the beach. Again, it's not even deserving of the word beach. It's a river they've dammed, the Rio Grande River, which runs from the Rockies, collecting the snow water runoff down through New Mexico, along the border of Mexico, and in Texas, and down into the Gulf of Mexico, which is renamed the Gulf of America. That's just insane, period. So here is this tree that I write about a lot. It's been debarked by probably some children, and maybe they burned part of it. Somebody drove a nail into it. I want to bring a hammer and pull it out. You see, he's got a V on the bottom and here, and I can bounce it up and down. But I haven't got time to rest. Why is it that when you're retired, there's little time to rest? And I'm not just saying this in jest. I think it has to do with when I could do everything, ride the hog, pack the classroom, have everybody jumping up and down at the same time saying, I feel healthy, I feel happy, I feel terrific, get the good reviews. But here's the dialectic, and not just positive mental attitude. Almost went on the wrong path. Here, I'll show you the path I'm running. It's these glorious trees, the sun shining through. But is my life through? No, I am not my body. I am not my mind. I am not my emotions, particularly not my ego, which has gotten pretty big, to be honest. I mean, how can you be a professor and not have an ego? It takes ego to submit your papers again and again, have them rejected. You know, a good batter is a 300. 3 out of 10 means missing most. And a good academic, probably 2 out of 10, a 200. I had a better rate than most, but you got to have a little bit of ego to suspend the disbelief of type 2 that you're not good enough to write, not good enough to publish, not good enough to take TIG weld. But then there's type 1, suspending disbelief. And that's the disbelief I must face. I am too old to ride a Harley 100 miles an hour down the 405 freeway, and I should be ticketed. But let me tell you the joy of that and why I will relive this memory forevermore. was riding up the highway. I had my black jeans, my black shirt, black vest, black helmet. I'm not an idiot. And then a black Harley Davidson. Black is the only color. Paint of Black, my favorite song from the Rolling Stones. Anyway, paint the world black. So I'm riding between the lanes and the traffic's moving about 80. Cars are speeding, I'm going up in the middle. But then a truck on one side to my left, a truck on another side to my right, pickup truck in front. Somebody's SUV crawling up my ass. So I'm boxed in. And I look at this pickup truck. It's a white, kind of off yellow color. The mom is driving. The daughter can't be more than 8 or 9. Is looking at me and her finger is pointing into the pickup bed. She points at me as if she says, "You're going to be dead." She looks again and points the finger down in a yellow bucket. Starts bouncing. Pickup. Evidently unsecured. It's about to bounce back. I hit the brakes, but hard. I don't want to be behind. But I slow a little bit to about 65. And there's a bit of space just as the bucket takes the last onto the freeway. Now I move left, the bucket moves left with me. I move right, the bucket moves right. It's like a submarine torpedo, and it's aimed at my heart. And well, I'm not my body, I'm not my mind, I'm not my ego. I also have a soul, and I am that, so hum. And it's not time to go. Anyway, the bucket, whichever way it go, I can't get rid of it. It's tracking me. I have to go. Heavy metal thunder. With my right hand, my fist, I turn the accelerator up full throttle. With my left hand, steering with the right hand and the throttle. I do a little S curve around the bucket. I reach down with my left hand. I pick up the bucket by this handle. Who does that at 90 miles an hour? And I wave it over my head. And the truckers, I can see in their cab are cheering. And the little girl in the pickup, her mother oblivious to what's going on, she's clapping her hands and smiling at me and pointing to the above. So I call that a miracle. I call that something that doesn't happen every day. The universe. The universe. Is Spinoza right? There's no God, just the universe? Or is that God? Well, there's a Jain who says, Naham, not that. No gods. Just my own inner divinity. So the person I was listening to is my own self, my higher self. And anyway, when you get too old to go heavy metal thunder with your right hand and pick up a bouncing bucket off the pavement at 90 miles an hour, it's time to turn in the HAWG. And that's what I did. I I didn't do it then. I didn't do it for a decade or two later, but I did do it. Was no longer living in Los Angeles. No longer had that hog. Special ordered an Evo motor. And my good friend, the neighbor, he and I built the hog. It had high raised bars up over my head, you know, room, I should say instead. Anyway, I'm going to put this video to bed and do the research with Tara on the AI, the one in China, the one that makes do, reverse re-engineers. We were reverse engineering a HAWG, HAWG, ordering the motor. I found a front end I bought from another neighbor. It's off a motor from the, not a motor, it's off a bike from the showroom. And then we bought aftermarket parts, and he had a painting machine. We painted, we got things welded. I had the best welder in the world. Another neighbor would extend the frame we bought. So it would be a high rider, you know. Man, the front wheel is way out in front. Big old back tire in the back. And it had a belt drive. And his wife made me a little leather patch to go down the middle. And I put, oh, you know, new things on. Not, and we painted it green. Now, green is not the best color for a motorcycle. They say, like this shirt, now my green was iridescent. It was vibrant, neon. It glowed in the dark. It was that green. But we did our first ride to Sturgis, and there were three of us. The guy that we partnered to build the bike, and his wife, and then there were five other Harley riders. Anyway, we formed not a gang, but a band, and we headed up the highway to northern New Mexico and then zigzagged across the states. Well, my bike broke down, nuts and bolts and things kept falling off, and whole pieces of the bike were laying on the side of the road. I mean, use Loctite, red. They use the red version, tight. The Harley shakes, rattles, and bucks. Pretty soon you drop enough metal, you're under a truck. Anyway, so eventually they got tired of me having to go to a service area, get some more nuts and bolts, get things tightened, get some lock nut, red. And so they left me there as if they didn't care. Of course they cared, but the ride comes first, okay? I was a casualty of the ride. It was like one of the fallen soldiers in Vietnam or Afghanistan, Iraq, now Iran, and all of the countries around Iran, Israel. I won't name them all, you know them all. So here's where I'm resourceful, like this AI innovator in China, very pragmatist. So I found a shop, bike towed there. I got the hardware. I did it myself. I learned from the master bike builder, my neighbor. I got it right. everything tight. I headed up the open highway, heavy metal thunder. I opened the throttle, let it roar, roar, roar. I was alive. I finally got there, found them in a cow pasture. The farmer rents out for the place for tents. I had packed a tent and a bedroll, found the group and pitched my tent. They were excited to see me. They couldn't believe I'd made it to Sturgis from Las Cruces, New Mexico. This is before Caballo. Anyway, I better keep running. It's time to go to Magdalena. Grace Ann will be calling me on the phone saying, "Where are you, David? Time for bath, time for breakfast, time to drive to Magdalena." And here you are, lost in your memories. I'm not lost, I'm finding myself. But it's best not to bicker over the truth, because she's right. I'm finding my way out of the maze. And like this AI CEO, inventor, re-engineered his AI. I reverse engineered what is a hog? What is a mechanic of a hog? What is a builder of a hog? What do I need to do to get it to work? And yeah, I used some parts that didn't quite fit. I made do. It's very efficient. So a hog that would cost $40,000, we built for 10, maybe 750, 7,500 plus odds and ends. So, and I wrote it. But after that trip to Sturgis, I realized I didn't want the wheel sticking way out in front of you. Turn a little bit left or right, and the whole thing could come out from under you. There was no floorboards to put my feet, just little pegs out front. I looked cool, but the ride was cruel. And so we rebuilt the bike and painted it gold. And gold is a very important color to James. It's the color, says Gurdev Shichabano, and you have your own colors, but gold is mine because it's lifting off the dross and finding the ground at the root chakra level. And the gold is a lotus blossom I sit on. And as I travel here up to the gate, back to the property, there's some things I want to do, sculptures I want to make, like the big dragon, the 10-foot wingspan, and the tail moved, and the jaws opened and closed, and the wings flapped, and it could take flight. But in a deep wind, those wings were flopping, and it was quite a fright. So I had to go and weld it with the stick and make it so the wings didn't flap, but it could still rotate with the wind, like one of those things on top of a barn, pointing in the direction the wind was coming from and going to. It's spectacular. I gave it away for free, like I gave the Harley away for free, like I give my advice away to reads for free to PhD students and junior faculty. I love to help. That's what I want to have said on my Yelp. But I got to know the difference between the two kinds of suspending disbelief. One is good to remember a memory you forgot, to hold all that dialectical maze in your heart. But the other one is type one is to recognize sometimes you got to let things go. So here's the license plate. Here's the travel trailer. It's got my name on it in iron. And there's the extra canister I took from the blacksmith shop. Got chains. You know, you got to be careful. People steal this. They just back up, jack it up, pull away. Yeah, yeah, I got a hammock. So there's things I want to do. There's trees I want to water, tree house I want to sit in over there. Uh, I want to be good to this set of flowers, and another one, and another one, and another one. And these came up, the four of them. They're the anecdote to the four gangsters. Here's some flowers, white, some flowers, pinkish, and I'm home.